For our next story, I'd like to bring in from the other side of the world, coming on short notice this morning. It is 2 a.m. for Kongman Lee.
Good morning.
How are you?
What is up? Doing great. How you guys doing?
Howdy.
Man,
Yo, what's going on,
Good
dude?
to see you. Oh, wait, I'll tell you. Let's do this the right way.
Yeah,
and make sure all of our Asians get center priority here. This is very important, right? There we
Let's
are.
go.
All right.
Segregate them, Craig. Segregate them.
Round them up.
I love
Round them up,
segregation.
rope them off.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So we want to talk about this Johnny Somali story here. Yesterday, he was sentenced to jail. And Kongman, you were there. You were in the courtroom as this was happening.
I was. It was actually a very surreal experience because this was actually my first time in a Korean courtroom. But yeah,
Thank God. Yeah, right?
Well, yeah, thank God. I know it wasn't Johnny Somali's first today, but yeah, it was a really interesting experience. And I, for some reason, thought he would be taller than he was. He's like 5'2". He's a midget.
He's shorter than me.
Wow, just saying, maybe there's a chance.
Ew.
Just saying.
Still taller than me, though.
Oh no. Well, so let's do a quick recap of this guy. Now, he's obviously he's known for a lot of different things, mainly just being a total asshole and it being a nuisance streamer. Here's a good example of this: text to speech while being on a bus, loud music.
I don't speak Korean. You touch me.
Getting yelled at, right? This is kind of his bit. His MO was going in, and you can see the things that he would say here. Not exactly. You'd go around Korea and just be honestly just a total fuckface, and that's kind of how he developed his MO. And he actually got knocked out at some point. Some guy walked up and pretty much beat the fuck out of him, which was very cool. So he gets arrested right here, and he goes to a judge and jury and gets arrested for this. And yesterday was the big culmination of this. So come and walk us through this. You were saying that he kind of walked in, he looked very stoic, and he kind of knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting because Johnny Somali is not known for being one to control his temperaments and his, the things that he desires to do. And he's known for his antics, lack of self-control, trolling. And I thought he would walk in that room and stare us down, troll us. Even for me, when I announced that I was coming to Korea 3 months ago, when I did come to Korea, he engaged with me on X and he said he's going to like hunt me down or something. So he's known for going after content creators, threatening them, trolling them. But then this 5'2" little midget, I don't even know if he's actually Somalian, but he walks into the room quiet. Literally lifeless eyes, doesn't say a single word, just walks in, sits down, and then when the judge calls him to the defendant's table, he just comes up, walks over, sits down, super quiet. I was like, this guy knows he's screwed. And then so in the courtroom, if he does act up, he knows that he's going to get an even harsher sentence. So it just goes to show that for these kind of nuisance streamers, and for anyone who wreaks havoc in society, the ones who literally, like you said, are F faces in public, like they just have to be shown like, you know what? No, we're not going to tolerate that bull crap. And the moment it's like basically disciplining a child. Once you say, no, we're not going to allow that, then they shut up instantly and they stop acting like a fool. And so it was really interesting because I literally thought he would look, because I was I was in there with a bunch of other content creators. It was packed. It was absolutely packed. There's like 50, 60 people, including content creators, Korean YouTubers, lawyers, and tons and tons of journalists. And it was packed. It was absolutely packed, overflowing. There's half of us at the stand during the trial. And I thought he would stare us down. I really thought he would stare us down and like taunt us, but he didn't do any of that because he knew he was going to get sentenced. And so, unfortunately, the prosecutor wanted 3 years, 3 years of prison time with labor. Unfortunately, the judge ruled that because there weren't any severe direct victims to his antics, they lessened the sentence to 6 months. But the prosecutor can appeal, and Johnny Somali can also appeal. So we are hoping that the prosecutor does appeal, because 6 months is not enough. 6 months is like a vacation. We want at least 1 or 2 years of extracting Johnny Somali's labor and kind of giving back to the Korean people for what he's done in Korea.
Can I ask a quick question? Just like for context, what law was it that he broke? I'm imagining that Korea maybe has a different law in place for this. I'm curious what that law is.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different laws that he violated. And of course, Legal Mindset is someone who is much more informed in terms of all the legalities and things like that. But definitely he created deepfake porn of Korean streamers and things like that and creating images of that. He was disrupting Publix. Like he would go to 7-Eleven and take ramen soup and just dump it everywhere. He went to the Statue of Peace, which is a very, very important like statue in Korea where they honor
cultural
the
peace.
Yeah. So if someone doesn't know, if anyone in the chat doesn't know, the comfort women were Korean women who were raped brutally by Japanese soldiers during the imperialist Japanese era. And so it's a very sensitive topic among Koreans. And he went there, he mocked them, and he's just blasting North Korean music super loud in public. And you know the typical videos of him like going on the subway, laying down, like touching people. It's just absolute nonsense, acting like a fool and truly like an animal in public. And so harassing citizens, harassing locals, distributing deep fakes, and all of these things were against Korean law, of course. And so, Koreans weren't having it. And so, like you said, Craig, there were Koreans who hunted him down and beat him up because they're like, stop it, just stop.
So the exact counts, 4 counts of obstruction of business, interference with business. That was the core charge for many of his stunts, which, man, that would be awesome if that was brought over to the United States. Obstruction of business. Violation of Minor Offenses Act. That's 2 counts of that. And a special act on the punishment of sexual violence crimes. 2 counts related to deep fake related content right there. So a total of 8 different counts, which, added up to 6 months. And he's going to be doing manual labor. Is that right? Some sort of labor that he's doing for 6 months. So what exactly was his reaction once he's sentenced? What happened immediately after? Did he have handcuffs on? Walk us through. They announce it. Then what happens?
Yeah, so he walked in with a backpack and with all his belongings. And then after the verdict was handed down, the judge asked him, is there any reason why you shouldn't go to prison in Korea? And he lied. He said, well, I'm still a student at ASU, which he's not. And then secondly, he says, I miss my family at home. It's like, okay, dude, you're not going to appeal to your family at this point. No one's going to listen to you. The judge was like, what the heck? And then and he just tried so hard, and he was really desperate because he knew he was screwed. Like, they gave him the sentence. And then so what happened as a result, then, they handcuffed him, and then they dragged him. They took his belongings, his phones, all of his electronics, his bag, and then they, escorted him out into a different exit than from the entrance that he came from. And he didn't look very happy, very lifeless. In all of his videos, and whenever he's streaming, he's like acting like a clown. But just completely dead. You
said drug. Was he literally dragged?
Yeah, he wasn't dragged. He was escorted. Okay. He did comply, so he wasn't like kicking and screaming like a child. But he was escorted, and it was quick. The trial lasted like 10 to 15 minutes. It was super quick. He came in. They were like, okay, this is what happened. This is what the charges. And here's the verdict. What say you? And then he's like, oh, my family, and oh, I'm a student. And it didn't work. It didn't fly. And then so basically, 20 days in detention. So he's going to be in detention for 20 days, and then he'll be transferred into a prison. And then so Korea does have separate foreigner prisons for foreigners, but he's going to a regular Korean prison. How's
that? What's that like?
Yeah, so obviously Koreans in prison are kind of like the most nasty in society, but Johnny Somali is known all throughout Korea for being someone who is extremely disrespectful. Like all the news anchors who were covering this, and I actually appeared on Korean news, which is really funny, but all the news anchors, they were super, super pissed. They're outraged because they're like, how dare you come into our country and mock our country? And you don't even like our country, but you come here and desecrate everything that we hold dear. Like, we're not going to tolerate that, right? And so in prison, I will predict that he probably will not be treated well and welcomed with open arms. And so it's going to be a 6 months of hell for him in prison, but also the kind of work that he's going to be doing. I do think it's going to be factory labor. And so, yeah, well, thanks for giving back to the Korean economy, Johnny Somali.
Wait, hold on, just for a little clarity here. Can we expect Johnny Somali to see what you would normally see in an American prison? And by that, I mean big things going into tight spaces.
Yeah. Please.
Well, I will not opine upon that. I have no idea whether
Thermometers, Craig. Thermometers.
how often the bar of soap is dropped and things like that. But I will say that he will probably not be treated well.
Like I want him to fart, and then when he farts, it sounds like poo. Like I just want it to like just.
What do you think, based off of your interactions with him, both privately and publicly? Do you think he's actually going to learn anything from this, or will the next 6 months really help from that?
No, absolutely not. I don't think so. And this is why the punishment has to be harsher. The harsher the punishment, the more, like, I guess, someone like Johnny Somali will be like, oh, frick. Because 6 months, yes, while it's long, it's not long enough. Like, he has to really feel the brunt of basically, like, the consequences of his actions. And everyone in my comment sections, all Koreans everywhere who heard this news, they're like, this 6 months is not enough. He should get the maximum sentence, at least 3 years, like 3 years. Because the way that he treated Koreans and the way that he came into Korea and just completely, and it was not only for Korea, but all the other countries, he was a complete clown in. Like Japan, they're like, Korea, why? Like, you should have sentenced them more. And I think it's not only for Johnny Somali specifically, but it's all for all nuisance IRL streamers, because 6 months, yes, while it is a good amount of time. I think most people don't think it's enough. And then so if you got 3 years, like 3 years is a long time. And I do think that would be a much stronger message to send into the world for nuisance streamers to, maybe stop being such an asshole for views.
Now, should we hate the streamer more or the people supporting this type of content more, do you think? Because they're doing this for a reason. It's not like they're doing this for funsies. They have big reason to do this. Money,
I think
views,
I think
whatever.
both should be sentenced to prison for life.
I agree.
Yeah,
Send them all to hard labor.
Go to prison. Yes. Turn big rocks into little rocks. Just get in there.
Well, you know what's amazing?
And not fun tit rocks, right? Not fun tit rocks.
Not fun bags.
No.
What's amazing about this is he actually did not think he was going to go to jail. He legitimately did not. He posted several times about how he was when he was streaming. He's like, no, this ain't gonna happen. I got a good lawyer over here. Here's a little snippet of that.
I know for a fact I'm not going to go to jail. Not one day in jail. I'm going to laugh my ass off when all these motherfuckers are saying I'm going for 30 years, 20 years, 5 years, 10 years. Bro, I'm telling you, I'm not even going to do 1 day, bro. They're going to give me a fine.
He looks like that Beetlejuice character, doesn't he? That with the shrunken.
Little guy,
Yeah.
Sour Stern. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. It's a wonderful potential. I would not say it's an end, but it is definitely a big chapter of the nuisance streamer aspect of streaming. And if we can just bring some of these wonderful little Korean laws over to the United States and penalize some of these asses who are out there doing their thing, man, that'd be wonderful. That would be wonderful. And
absolutely,
it's great to see. Well, Cockman, I'll tell you what, man. Anything else you want to add before we let you go? I know it's super early over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's I very deeply despise IRL nuisance streamers, and I'm a Christian. I love all people, but they're just the worst. They're the absolute worst.
It does test your faith, doesn't it? It does.
Yes,
test
it really does. But one thing I will say is thank you to Johnny Somali for bringing together not only the entire internet, but the entire world in a moment of peace and harmony and agreement, where every single person from every single background, from every single walk of life, from every single political part of the political spectrum, they all came together. They're like, yes, yes, Johnny Somali's going to jail and he's going to do hard labor. Everyone loved it. Left, right, front, center, young, old, black, white. Everyone loved it. So rare moment of world peace. So maybe there's one good thing that came out of this.
Amen.
Well, appreciate you hopping on with us in the middle of the night over there. Go get some rest, and thanks for your coverage on this. I'm sure it's been really good for you, and appreciate you taking a few minutes, buddy.
That was a great
Thank
day.
you.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
Take care,
guys.
man.
Thank
Cool.
you. Good night.
Bye.
You can find Kongman's channel link in the description. We'll make sure we put it down there so you guys can find it. What a stud for hopping on with us today, even for just a few minutes. Getting on the boots coverage from a big story in the streaming world. Great stuff right there, man. It's awesome.